So that is a very abridged version of the Bible. And it's mostly true.
It's absolutely not
Amazing.
true at all, because there were no Jewish slaves in Egypt.
No, I'm saying according to the book, it's pretty true. I mean, the story I told was pretty
accurate. Accurate to the Bible. I see.
One of my favorite things about Taylor Bible Time is that later on, a couple weeks from now, maybe even a couple months, I will get a call from my parents who fact check it and tell me like, yeah, you know what? It wasn't that God was edging and about to come during the sixth plague. and like I remember you described like I don't know why they mixed up his goat hair with it. My mom was like, he was a very hairy guy. I think Taylor didn't exaggerate that quite enough or whatever. But yes, I can't wait to hear my mom try to take that apart and tell me where you went wrong.
I've seen the movie. Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
The Disney movie?
Exodus, Gods and Kings. Exodus, Gods and Kings. So they attack the situation of Moses in two ways, where it's the religious people, they go, oh, it's God has done this. And then you have the scientists which go, well, technically, if you take all the frogs away, obviously there's going to be a lot of flies still alive. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. At first, I thought you guys were like pulling a prank on me with this whole Bible talk.
This is a tentpole topic around here.
I've like never, in my few times that I've been on PKA, I've never experienced Bible talk.
Oh, it's highly requested.
It's one of the most highly requested topics, not to jack myself off.
No,
I'm a huge fan of it because like after you hear a ridiculous story like that, you have to stop and remember that there are billions of people who believe this and are willing to kill and die over these facts.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like if you care about like reality, just know there were no Egyptians in bondage in Egypt ever, and if there were, they certainly didn't build any of the pyramids or the structures.
Well, they were never slaves, right? That's what the scientists and geologists
it was professional artisans.
Were never slaves.
These were highly paid craftsmen who actually constructed the things you see in Egypt, all of the pyramids and such. I mean, you could tell that by not just the quality of the craftsmanship, that this was a well-trained
housing
person, but also the housing they lived in, the food that they had available, the implements, everything down to the quality of the pottery that they had in their domiciles. These were well-paid artisans of their time who created those giant.
If Woody's mom is going to go through and fact-check me, more important than the facts of the plagues and he actually didn't slam his staff down there, blah, blah, blah. The actual thing to talk about in that story to do with the religion of Christianity or Judaism is that the Lord repeatedly and continually forced the Pharaoh to harden his heart. You can't give someone free will and then force the... What it was is like, when you're dominating a game of Civ or Age of Empires and Queen Elizabeth is like, oh, please let me retire with some dignity. And it comes up as yes or no, and you go, no. And you just burn them down. Like, that's the fucked up part about it, really, as far as like Christian canon, is that God directly intervened, changed the ability to make a decision, thereby infringing on his own gift of free will, in order for his own macabre story to play out.
Yeah, it's
so
like
if
when
there's anything she takes qualms with, then
when we used
that's
to play
what I'm interested to hear.
when we used to play Call of Duty 4 and we'd be destroying someone in domination and the game's about to end, so we let them capture 2 flags, so the game will just keep going on for a while and we can force it into war. Yeah,
that's exactly what God was doing.
That's exactly God is a hateful 14-year-old COD player apparently who just likes playing with his food.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Old Testament God's a real piece of shit.
Rough customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you told the one before, is it Locke? Let his daughters get raped, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
he was about to let them get raped.
Yeah. But then he went ahead and fucked him himself. So, decide which of those situations is more out there. Well, he was drunk.
Oh yeah. Jeez, Quinn, why are you so judgmental?
Drunk. I mean, you get a little wine in you. Woody.
Yeah.
Get a little wine in you, and then a lot later that night was like, oh, the floor of this cave is so cold. I feel like I'm gonna vomit. talking about what he was
Right. Thank God this cave is so cold.
Yeah, Lot was a pretty devout guy. It's interesting that he was so devout within a city of those who were so the opposite. It's almost as if the story was completely made up and meant to be a parable.
No, I'm pretty sure it's true.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I like whenever some like historian, air quotes, is like, we believe we found the city of Sodom and the city of Gomorrah. It's like, unless it literally says Sodom on like a big placard that you found outside this motherfucker, like ye old Sodom, like Sodom, house of sodomy and more. Like no, you just found an old fucking city that's been abandoned and destroyed or something like that. Like I hate that so much. Remember when people were always finding the Ark, or not the Ark, but the Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
Noah's
the
Ark.
You're right. They found the Ark like 4 times in my teens.
Yeah.
I was like, but what? Like that one has metal in it. Like
fun story. One of my good friends, still good friends, his mom was like super religious, right? So she would go to church, and then the pastor is like, you're not allowed to wear jeans. You can only wear like dresses and stuff like that. And she's like, okay. And then does it, right? Throws out all her jeans. And then he comes over and he goes, your son? Yeah, that computer of his, it's the devil's inside of him. Demons are inside of him. And she like believed it and was like, so what do I do with his computer? And he's like, give it to me. I'll make sure that the demons, they go away from your son. Yeah. And she would come up to me and be like, Jordy, like, you know there are demons in here. You don't go to church. I'm like, listen, like I was 14, 15. I'm like, I don't believe in any of that stuff. You know, I respect you believing in it. And, you know, I'm down to have a conversation. But please show me any proof that any of these stories that you just told me is actually real. And I will research it, and then obviously I'm super open to actually believe in something. And she goes and links me this shady article on like Yahoo News of like Noah's Ark has been discovered in Syria or something like that. And I'm like, what? It's just like it's not. Yeah. It's fake. It's like.
You know how boats made of wood stay together for 5,500 years?
No, that doesn't work that way. And then the story ends pretty funny. Sad at the same time. She realized at one point, she's like, well, the son's like, well, I want my computer back, and she's like, well, okay, I'll ask for your computer back. And then it turns out that the pastor obviously sold it and cashed in all the money and was doing it to like 20, 30 other people. And then she's like, fuck this shit. So
can I see your iPhone?
Did she become less?
This was before iPhones.
It's full of ghosts.
Did she like move away from the church because of that experience?
Yeah. Because
and did she move away from God too, or just the church?
I think she's still religious, but she's like wears jeans now again. So
one step in the right direction.
Oh, she's a moderate.
Like, not that crazy. Yeah.
She's a pants wearing Christian, one of the good ones.
Pants wearing Christian.